day off so I can stream earlier. I started. Dude, I always look at it and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm always like this. God damn it, I'm always fucking. And let me share it on Twitter as well. Tweet. Paste. Let's go. I was made for all of you, baby. I always gotta change this shit. I always fucking forget how to do this. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Fuck.
Super happy their whole lives. None of them probably felt like, oh my God, I don't have the newest iPhone. No. Oh my goodness, we're not going to make it to Disney World this year. Oh my, like these people had family, they had God, they had their communities, and they did all of this stuff, and they didn't need a single dollar for any of that, except for the $5 they put in the basket when they handed around at church.
But you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm not pushing people to do anything. Okay. I'm telling them, do what makes you happy. So I will guarantee you, though, if you go into communities where people are, so let's say they struggle financially, but they have all those wonderful things that you're talking about, community, farm, family, church, and you went in and you said, hey, I can make your finances a little bit better, and I can hand you a $500,000 check right now. Do you want it or no? Line up the people who will say, no, thank you, I'm good. I guarantee you they will all take it. So what I'm saying to you is it's okay for people to want simplicity. It's okay for people to say, I don't want to work my fingers to the bone. My grandpa was like that. My grandpa retired very early. He didn't want to work into his old age. He wanted to spend time with his family. He loved to cook. He was old school Italian. He was like, I don't want that. He sacrificed a lot of finances to make that personal decision. Amen. We got to see a lot of him. Great. I have other people in my family that will work their fingers to the bone till the day they die. And that's what really makes them happy because they're always in that head of like wanting to do. So what I'm saying is find what makes you happy and do it. I'm not pushing any of it. I'm not telling you what makes you happy. I'm not going to try to do that. But just know that setting yourself on a path to achieve whatever that is that you believe makes you happy is something that we should be supporting.
For
whatever
sure.
that looks like.
As long as that happiness isn't like a dollar amount. I know you mentioned the $500,000 thing, but I guess I've been in a lot of wealthy communities in West Hollywood and LA. I lived in LA for 3 years. I know a lot of wealthy people and a lot of wealthy communities all over the place. And man, and if you've been time, because you've done media stuff, I'm sure you know a lot of these people. They're all on Prozac. They've all got, like all of their friends are backstabbing them constantly. They don't talk to or they hate their parents. They have horrible interpersonal relationships with everybody they know. They're estranged from their children. There's like all sorts of stuff going on. And these people have so much money. Now, you mentioned if you would offer $500,000 to any person in a rural community where they say, yeah, give me that money, they do it. Sure, the grass is always greener. If you were to go to any of these communities in LA, Beverly Hills, you say, give me 85% of your net worth, and I will cure all of your depression, and I will make all of your relationships whole. They would give the money up in a heartbeat. Because what's it doing for them? What do they want? A bigger house, another car?
You think so?
Absolutely.
You think all these big time celebrities, if you went up to them and you said, the ones who complain, by the way, about what you're saying, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. Money doesn't buy happiness, by the way, is a saying that is said by people who have money.
That is
100% true. Now, I'm not telling you that money is an exclusive path to happiness. I'm not telling. I'm somebody who sits here on the show every day and says, get sunshine, get outside, watch what you eat, don't eat garbage food, exercise, get your endorphins running. My message is a wholesome message. And I'm not somebody, by the way, just for context, I'm not somebody who like lives the grind. I like my work.
Everything about energy.
Yo, this lady earlier in the fucking video said she hates vacations, and now she's like, I'm not a person that works the grind.
Life balance.
I order my food straight from farms, but I'm not a fucking weirdo. Okay, what happened? Where the fuck did the game go? You guys, it's fucking Struggle City right now with Dolphin Emulator for some fucking reason. I literally might have to fucking configure the controller, dude, which is actually dog shit if I have to do that.
Balance. That's where I come from personally. That's the kind of family I come from as well. However, if you think that there's poor people on Prozac, there's rich people on Prozac, there's poor people, these are societal problems that go way beyond how much money you have. But those rich people go to celebrities in Hollywood and say, you know what? You're right. Money doesn't buy happiness. So listen, you can work on all that other stuff, but simultaneously, we're just going to take all of your money. I would like a poll of how many of them handed over to you, and let's see. Maybe they'll say money doesn't buy happiness, so here's my millions and millions of dollars. I beg to differ. I think they need to work on other areas of their life. I think they probably need to work on their mental health and their physical health and a whole bunch, and their communal health and a whole bunch of other things. But the fact that they have a lot of money, that is not the trigger. There's something else going on there.
If you could reset your life, if you could go back to being 21 years old, and you could keep either everything you've learned or the amount of money you've got, which one would you choose?
Why do I have to choose?
Because it's a hypothetical, and that's how hypotheticals work. You have to choose one.
What
if you could right now
idiot.
Reset your life, a genie comes out of a lamp. They say you can be 21 years old again. You can either have the exact same amount of money that you got right now, and then you could be 21 with everything you knew at 21, or you can sacrifice all of your money and go back to 21 with everything you've learned.
That's not what the debate is, though.
Well,
That's not what
I'm
the
just curious
debate's
what the answer
about.
would be.
No, because it's all or nothing. That's ridiculous. Because a lot of times
I'm just curious what the answer would be.
But a lot of times you're getting that experience while you're earning a living, and you're
not always
though.
So that's the whole point, because sometimes you have to give up one for the other. If you want to be a doctor, you're saying I'm going to throw away 10 years of my life to do med school. If you want to be a lawyer, you're going to have to grind through law school. If you want to make partner, you're going to have to grind through working. There are things in life for the pursuit of money that require you to make sacrifices to your personal life too. But as Americans, we don't quantify our mental health. It's very easy to say, if I work X more hours, I'll make Y more dollars. But
I agree with you there.
Yeah, sure. I guess
I can agree with.
Yeah. I like the idea of pushing people to be more, to earn more, and to accomplish more in life.
What is happening,
good.
bro?
I just
Why the
sometimes
fuck
the
did
way
this
that, and I'm sure you've seen it. You said you have a work-life balance,
I
which
do
is good.
personally.
But if you've seen like the Instagram stories, TikTok things like the hustle culture, like you should wake up at 6 a.m., eat 3 eggs, check your Robinhood account. 6:30, you go to the gym for 2 hours. At 8:30, you're clocking into your job, and then you're checking your crypto account. And then at 9:30, you're like making calls to client, and it's like, Jesus, like live.
Right.
You don't want to be 30 years old, like, oh my God, and I've earned like $500,000. I'm 30 years old. It's like, okay, well, what did you do with your 20s? I hustled.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, I think there's nuance to that conversation. Like I said, I'm always talking about health. One of the things I'm always talking about is sleep. You need to sleep, right? So sleep deprivation is a serious problem now.
For sure.
And if you get older and you look back on your life and you've slept 4 and 5 hours every night, you are going to be more prone to several chronic
dementia and all sorts of
all
other
of
bad
those things.
brain
So
things,
I talk about that all the time. So I think we can agree on a little bit of the nuance there. I want to talk about college.
Yeah,
Let's talk about college. You did a conversation. I pulled this one. You had a conversation with Sneeko, I think it is. This is at 1636, Tyler. So we skipped one. We skipped miserable millennials because we covered that.
Oh, miserable millennials because they're all going after money. They didn't learn how to build any part of their life. They're miserable.
All right, we'll go back.
They got $150,000 living in a nice city, and they're like, "Oh my God, I have no relationships, no friends." No, we can do college. We can do college because college will.
It'll rope back in. Let's do college, and then I can tell Stephen why he's wrong about millennials.
Gotcha.
Also,
Okay.
let's go.
saw you on Adam 22. You're like, go to college.
Yeah, because college is a super reliable course to build
College is a
yourself.
scam. College is a giant scam. Most of these majors are a waste of time now. You have to pay $50,000 a year to a lot of these schools.
Why do you think people pay the money?
Because it's an illusion to make them feel like they're productive and they're doing something when in reality they don't know what they want to do. They're just in there taking up loans and then they end up at 40 with a bunch
all
of
of societies, they don't end up with debt. They end up out earning people with high school degrees by about $1 million over the end of their lifetime. There's a reason why people pay so much for degrees. It's because they tend to pay for themselves.
You're telling me you don't know a lot of people in your generation that have to pay so much money off in student loans?
I know more people that went broke on crypto than I know people that wasted money on a STEM degree.
Okay, but why are you advocating for the grind of college, but not advocating for making money?
Because college is a reliable path that if you get on the path and you put in the work, there's a guaranteed reward at the end. It's not a competition with other people. Competition's by
a reliable path. What did you go to college?
Kind of.
Kind of. So you didn't even you dropped out, and you're telling people to go to college?
Yeah, because I'm a 1 in a million. What I did was incredibly rare. Like, what do you mean?
Okay, so this is an interesting topic for me because I taught college for a year.
Can you imagine?
I actually got a master's degree. I got my BA. So I got my BA in Spanish and marketing. I thought I was going to go and do something in the business field and that learning a second language would be an asset. I got a scholarship to go do an MA at Columbia in Spanish. And I said, oh, this will be great. I'll perfect, my Spanish.
I can't believe
Fantastic.
I just had to do that all over again.
Hated it, loathed it. Came out. I taught college for a year, and then I went and I taught at a private school in Manhattan, grades 7 through 12.
What?
I was a dean there,
Oh my
basically an
fucking
advisor
god!
doing
If that's
a
the
whole bunch of- I
case,
also taught in a Catholic school, so I've
I'm
had
playing
a pretty
Simpsons Hit Run.
extensive
Forget this. If
experience
it's not even
teaching.
gonna
I'm somebody who
remember all my
tells
shit.
people,
Dude,
this
why
is
did
my
it
advice.
delete
You mentioned
everything?
STEM here. STEM is very different
I'm
than a liberal
losing
arts
it,
degree.
bro.
So you're talking about
What the
specialized.
fuck?
I'm guessing that you mentioned STEM because that is more specified.
I mentioned STEM because I don't want to go through the
technology.
argument of because technically people that get philosophy degrees and English and history degrees, English and history is important to society, and the degradation of these degrees, we don't care about arts or any of that. That's all silly. We only care about is silly. But I didn't want to have that argument with him at that particular point in time.
Okay, can we have it? Can we have that discussion now? Are you
If you'd
comfortable
like
having
to,
that?
sure.
I would love to because I had that degree, and what happened to me was I graduated from, and let me tell you my story. I don't know if it'll help you or not, but I graduated from college.
losing
on a
it. I'm
4.0.
losing it.
I worked my butt off. I
What
loved
the
it.
fuck,
I loved
man?
studying. I was a professional student. I went to Columbia. I graduated with all honors. I come out and I go to get a job. And do you know what I knew how to do? Nothing. I had no practical skills. None. Knew how to do nothing. Seriously, I went to go get a job at an insurance company, and I was like, what am I going to do? I don't have any practical skills. I could think. I could talk. I could do all of that stuff, but I didn't have any practical skills for the workforce. So I wandered around and meandered around and all that stuff. So here's how I feel about college. If you're going for something specified, say you want to be an engineer, something very, very specific where you're going to go, you're going to study, you're going to acquire a certain skill set, you're going to come out, you're going to be marketable in an industry, you're going to have skills available to work on day one. I know how to do X, Y, and Z, practical skills, great. If you're going to go and you're just going to float around and you're going to take gender studies and you're going to, take some literature classes and you're going to largely socialize because that's what college has become. And by the way, get indoctrinated, which is happening in colleges all across America. So you come out thinking one way and not free thinking for yourself. All of that happens, you come out and you have no practical skills. How is that helpful? Is it not more helpful for someone to sign on for an online program and learn how to actually do something? Or I'm not saying do nothing. But I'm saying there are alternatives now to a 4-year degree that are specialized, that are practical, so that somebody comes out and knows how to do something.
Why?
As opposed to just, I'm smart, I went to college, what do you know how to do? I don't know.
If you go to college and you don't do a single internship, you don't get a single job, you don't do anything. I mean, you've wasted the experience. I mean, I can point to if you want to say that that's going to be the archetype of the college student you want to hold up, then fine. Then I'll say if you don't go to college and you just meander around, you work at 7-Eleven, then you get a job at McDonald's, then you become a McDonald's supervisor, and then you go work at Burger King. Well, you've also wasted 4 years of your life, right? I'm not going to compare the high-driven guy that doesn't go to college and does all the certifications on his own, all the workshops on his own, gets a huge job, and by 22 and then compare that to like a college student that does nothing. That's not an equal comparison.
But forget about doing it. I had a 4.0. I worked my butt off.
I don't know what your college can you speak
but
Spanish?
There's plenty of people. Sure, of course I
nice,
can.
and you're Miami, so that's good.
There
There you go. That's a good skill you picked up.
But what was that going to do? If I wanted to be a Spanish teacher, great.
I can't go on your personal experience
so
because I
let's
don't know.
speak
But
in
this
general.
is something that I would beg conservatives to do. You have to stop attacking liberal arts because I'm tired on my stream of debating how many new black, trans, women characters are in the next TV show, okay? Conservatives have suicided themselves on the culture war because they refuse to engage in the things that matter culturally. And when you say things
What
like,
matters culture that we're
like
ignoring?
things like liberal arts are important, things like entertainment, things like music, all these things are really important things. And when conservatives just say, do STEM, do STEM, do STEM, don't do that, that's for losers. English is for losers. History is for losers. And you turn around, you're like, oh my God, CRT, that's horrible. Well, how do you expect, what else would CRT be besides something written by the most progressive and crazy people? Because all the conservatives are driven to only do engineering and technology, right? I want there to be a conservative that is studying gender studies. I want that to happen so that when people are saying things like, I think any gender can be anything and our pronouns should be Zer, I want a conservative there saying, you know what? I think it's good to push on some gender things, but that's a little bit fucking insane, you know? I think that'd be good. But when conservatives push for education to look a certain way, I think that some of it starts to become self-fulfilling to where conservatives will say, I think the institutions are becoming a little bit ideologically driven. Stay away from the liberal arts. Or I think that college in general is becoming more ideologically driven. We need to kind of like do private schools and stay out of there. Well, what's happening to the schools? They're becoming more and more and more and more and more ideologically driven as conservatives refuse to engage with them. And then those people are growing up, they're joining the administration and the staff, and now they're becoming even more left-leaning. And then conservatives are going, oh my God, look at all these liberal institutions. Look at how far left they are. And I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh telling me constantly that this is what colleges were going to become, and kind of like mail-in ballots for Trump, it almost became a form of self-fulfilling prophecy, in my opinion.
But colleges have been like that. I mean, I went to college 20 years ago, and it was already like that. It was already all liberal all the time. I mean, conservatives, it sounds great. It sounds like a utopia. Conservatives go into a gender, gender studies class, and they talk about pronouns, and everyone has a great civil discussion, and everyone disagrees. That's not what happens to conservatives on college campuses. They
Not
get
now,
shut
it doesn't,
down.
of course.
They get put in the corner. You see, conservative can't even go to speak. I mean, a Tommy Lauren, whether you agree with her or not, can't even go to speak on a college campus without getting shut down, harassed, and they have to call in security. That's a huge problem. Why would a conservative parent want to send their child to an institution of supposedly higher learning where they're going to learn how to be a free-thinking person for them to either get indoctrinated or punished? Ridiculous. I would never. I hope that my child, I have a son, I have a 3-year-old, amazing kid, smart kid, great. What I want for him more than anything is for him, once he figures out what he wants to do in life, I would love for him to get some practical skills in that area. I don't need him to go to college for 4 years to learn how not to think, to be indoctrinated, for me to spend a fortune, for him to come to party and drink and do whatever he's going to do, and to come out and not know how to do anything. If he comes to me and he says, hey, listen, Mom, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and there's a program for this, and I can do it in 2 years, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to be able to do this, and it's going to be really awesome, and that's what I want to do. Amazing. Let's do it. So conservatives aren't here saying, oh, humanities is a joke and we don't care about English.
They do say that, but
I mean, that's just what they're saying is that if you're going to invest money in something, there should be a return on that investment. And that means that you should have a productive, free-thinking child at the end of that comes out and is in a better position than they were before they went in. That's not what's happening in college. If I were hiring someone for a position today, I would much rather hire someone who did not go to college. Why?
no shot.
100%.
Absolutely
And I do it all the
not.
time. And the reason is that the people who go to college go through 4 years and every single one of them talks and thinks and acts like a robot 9 out of 10
That's
times.
just if I'm hiring somebody and I've got 2 equivalent candidates in front of
Yep.
me, and I've got a guy that was able to get his 4-year degree, that speaks volumes. I know that you can be on time. I know that you can show up every day and do what's assigned to you. I know that you have the ability to finish something. That's a hugely important thing versus somebody that shows up with no degree. If you don't have a degree and you can make it without a degree, but you need a damn good portfolio to do that, and that is true advice for anybody working in any field. If
That
you think you can
4-year
show up,
degree is on
if
its
you-
way out.
it's
It's on its way out.
absolutely. If
on
it's
its way
on
out.
its way out, it's only because people are wanting more and more and more education. The
can't
college
believe
degree
this.
is the
I
number
actually-
one
I'm
grower
fucking
of
losing
wealth
it.
inequality in the United States because people with college degrees are out earning everybody else so much.
Watch what
And
happens
it's
in the next 10 years with college degrees.
It's becoming
Watch.
more of a it's only trended in one direction where the degrees are becoming more and more important. It's so important. Even other conservative-esque people like Jordan Peterson talk about, like, how do we have a society where it functions when the IQ requirements for performing well in society are becoming higher and higher and higher and higher, where the types of work that we have, the specialization required, the training required is getting higher and higher and higher, to where having that 4-year degree is, from my day, it's the equivalent to it used to be having a GED or high school degree, where, like, if you didn't have high school in the 80s or 90s, like, well, man, what are you? You're a loser. Well, now, 2002, it just, the numbers don't lie. I mean, like, you can look at the
what I'm
median
telling you is
earnings
that
for a
it's
high school
changing.
degree.
What
It's
I'm
not,
telling
but
you
it's
is
not.
that
It is changing, and that it's becoming more and more of a requirement.
You're talking to me about IQ as if college is an indicator of your IQ.
You don't think IQ correlates to
do you know how
intelligence?
many people I talk to every day who are entrepreneurs who didn't go to college or spent
how
their
many
college
people-
years doing nothing,
how
or
many-
wasted their college years, or have that 4-year degree but partied and joked around all the time, and you'll talk to them and they'll say, I had a friend who didn't go to college at all but was motivated and was focused. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying don't do anything. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, as an alternative to a 4-year degree for everyone, and some people may thrive in college. Like I said, you go to school for engineering, you go to school for a specialized subject, you go to school for someone where there's going to be an obvious reward to that program. Fine. I'm not telling people, everyone, this is a blanket recipe for you. However, there are going to people out there who are going to want to do something specialized that does not fit in with a 4-year bracket. That doesn't mean that they're not going to work hard. That doesn't mean that they're not going to develop a skill set. That doesn't mean that they're not going to be marketable to an entrepreneur just because they don't have a 4-year degree. That way of thinking is going to be antiquated very soon.
I'll if you want to do a time frame and a $20 bet, I'll bet you money. It's the easiest money I've ever made. Okay, $20,
I can do that for $20.
5 years, whatever you want. We'll do another episode if we're still live. And
But Steven, look at what happened. Honestly, look at the one of the reasons that we just went through, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, last couple of years, and you saw what happened on college campuses.
I'm gonna start fucking hardcore conservative grifting, bro. It's so easy.
Look at what happened.
Just call bullshit on anything.
I mean, they locked kids
Doesn't
down in
matter.
their dorm rooms in many schools. They now are, instituting, I don't know how you feel about mandates. I strongly oppose the mandates, but they're instituting that on college campuses. You have parents all over the place that are watching this stuff and saying, what am I paying for?
I am 33 years old. I went through a phase when I was 15 where my parents did a certain thing and I didn't like that thing and I wanted to do the exact opposite of everything.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, we have to grow out of that. I can look at college campuses, and I've argued a lot of stuff. I think that I just went to the University of Texas in Austin and A&M, and I just did a Change My Mind event where I argue that wokeism is going way too far across most college campuses. I'm not going to disagree with it. That's absolutely true in a number of ways. People were writing, school administrators were writing if people needed therapy after the Rittenhouse verdict. Okay,
Yes. Or the Trump win.
Yeah, it was unbelievably cringe. But I can't let that one thing that I don't like poison my mind against seeing all of the other upsides of doing college.
Mm-hmm.
If you have people that are capable of doing things outside of college, this is the advice that I give somebody. If somebody asks me, if they go, do you think I should go to college? And I go, if you have to ask me, the answer is probably yes. Because the type of people that are driven enough, like when you talk about people that didn't go to college that are entrepreneurs, they're not going to college because they did really bad in math and English and school's just not for them. They're not going to college because they're so busy with the path they're on in life, with what they've got already, they don't have time for it, right? There are
They
people
have
that are
direction
19,
already.
20. Yeah, they're already working with their parents' business. They're already have learned to trade, through their teen years because friends or a dad of a friend taught them things. They're already contributing to projects online. They're coding, they're programming 19, 20, 21.
Right.
And by the time these people at 22, 23, these are the stars. These are the people that they would come to me, hey, can I work on your website? Can I do it? And I go, oh, well, what have you done? And they go, this is what I've done. I go, okay, yeah, obviously you can work on my stuff. But a lot of people that don't go to college aren't like that. And it's a bit, I don't want to say delusional because that's too harsh, but this idea that like all these people don't go to college because they're so busy pursuing other things is just not true.
I'm not saying all of them,
Okay,
but that's
sure.
where the role of parenting comes in, where you have to know your kid, you have to have.
I mean, I have
a
my child is 11 years old, and I told him, if you want to get into YouTube, do stuff like I do, that's great. You're finishing school though. You absolutely are.
And
It's just you're
that's-
doing college. It's once you have that degree, nobody can take it from you. You've shown something to the world. I might go, but that you
A
can
piece of
finish your
paper?
college degree.
You show a piece of paper to the world that says
I'm so
what?
jealous of you. Give me your master's.
You can
'cause
have
I
it.
yeah.
You know what? You can have it because
Yeah.
and I'll tell you why you can have it, because I learned more practical skills waitressing in New York City than I ever got from getting a master's degree at Columbia University. And if I could go back in time, I always say I wouldn't change anything, because you know how you see those
Yeah,
movies where you
you
go
are
back in
who you are,
time, and
man.
I want my family to be what it is today, and I love my child. I wouldn't want to move any of those puzzle pieces. But if I could go back and not move any of the puzzle pieces and not have wasted a year at Columbia University, I got it for free, and I can't even justify it.
It's a unique experience,
waste.
though.
Great. It was a unique experience. I was miserable.
Then you should have done something better with it. But you know what?
Dude. Oh my God. I mean, just clearly, just like if I didn't make money on it, it was a waste of time.
Was not
how many-
practical.
where are there more miserable people at? Miserable people getting their masters at Columbia's, or miserable people that are doing waitressing in New York City?
You know what? I don't know, actually, because
Well, okay.
everybody I worked with was happy.
Then here's a question. If we talk about all of the elites in society, okay,
Yeah.
the elites that run everything, I know you guys like that one. What do they do
is
with
it
other
not true?
kids? What do they do with other kids?
Of
They're
course
getting
they
them into
put
the
them-
best university,
Of
the best Ivy
course.
League schools. You're going to Stanford. You're
But
going to.
why is that?
But these guys are so successful. Shouldn't
But
they be telling
why
their
is
kids?
that?
No, not my son's not going to
No.
waste his time at Harvard or
Why
Yale.
is
My
that?
son's going to go out and he's going to start working at 19, because education is important.
No,
It's the
that's not
foundation
why.
that you build the rest of your
That's
life on.
not why.
And you're at the one stage in life where you can continue to learn and acquire knowledge and a unique skill set that you can't outside.
You know that's not why.
It is absolutely. What
They're
is the
all
reason?
of the same political mind. They are more than happy. You're talking
That's
about
so
liberal elites in New York City.
stupid.
Of course, they're
Ah,
more than
this bitch
happy
is
to
dumb.
take their kids and put them in the best universities because they know that the indoctrination that they have started in their household is just going to continue beautifully
you
over
think
there.
there's somebody's going to
And
send their kid to
because they
Harvard just to
value-
finish
But
indoctrinating?
do
You can indoctrinate their own
understand?
household.
These pieces of paper look great on a wall. What does it mean?
It shows
There are
that you
people
went
who
to
come
for
out of-
4 or 5 years.
So
You took some
what?
classes. You passed some tests. You
Great.
could do a thing.
Great.
Do you care about reading scores or tests? When you talk about like black communities or disadvantaged communities,
Yeah.
do you say that like it's a crime that they can't read, that they can't do math? Why does education matter only up to a certain point, but not past that?
Because of what's happened to college in the last
Because
2
of
decades.
woke people?
Not just
The woke
people.
boogeyman scared the kids
Not
off of
just
college
woke
campus?
people, but if college is not a place where you're learning how to think anymore, and if college is not a place where diversity of thought actually exists, and if college is not a place that embraces true diversity, not just in what color are you and what your culture is, but in how you actually view and see the world, then what's the point? Why do I need to send my kid to go in and come out a robot? It's ridiculous.
Because
so I'm not saying there's no value.
Because the median earning of somebody with a 4-year degree is $20,000 a year higher than
And what
somebody
I'm
with only
telling
high
you
school.
is I see your stats, I hear them, but what I'm trying to say is that way
know
of
what
looking at the world and
fucking
that
Marge about.
way of idolizing this piece of paper is going to be on its way out very soon, because what you're seeing is a rejection of $50 or $60 or $70,000 a year investment, and then you have a kid that comes out and you're like, what did I just do? The kid often comes out dumber, less able to think for themselves, and less accomplished, and they sit on the couch that year and they say, what are you going to do now?
I'm not even a
sure.
big college person, but
All of
this
that, and
study's
they're
being.
still out earning their high school peers. It's crazy how that works. And they had 4 extra years together.
Watch
I
what
guess all that
happens.
experience at Burger King didn't
We're
pay
not
off.
talking about today, but watch what
Okay.
happens. And I'm not talking about getting a minimum wage job as an alternative. What I'm saying is people need to broaden their minds. College still exists, and it will be the appropriate decision for some. Alternative programs do exist and will be the appropriate decision for some in order to, yes, you want to get educated. You want to get
can't believe
a
the cops
path
haven't come at
towards
me yet.
success. You want to get a path toward learning actual skills. That's not going to be college for everybody. That's all I'm saying. It's a little bit more gray for me than that. I don't want that to be everybody's prescription because I don't think it fits everybody's life.
Okay, well, this is a far different statement to I don't want every single person going to college versus college
I don't
is a
want
waste
every
of
single-
money.
I don't
well,
want
is
every
college a
single
waste of
person.
money? Just not want to, because I agree there are some people that would do way better in trade schools. I hated school. I sucked at school.
There you go.
And so yeah, maybe I would have done better in like a different type of program coming out for sure. And I grew up as a millennial, and millennials were all told go to college, go to college, go to. It was like the only thing you like,
Right.
right after breathing and eating, go to college. So yeah, I agree that there are different paths for different people.
So that's what I'm saying. What I'm
no,
saying
what you
is
were saying
one
earlier
size-
was that college was a waste of
No,
money.
college
That's what you
is
said earlier.
college is largely a scam for many
Okay,
people.
well that's a different statement. Then
It
not
is
everybody should go
largely
to
a scam,
college.
but no, it is largely a scam for many people. But I also believe that because I don't believe in one size fits all for anything, whether you're talking about the medical system, whether you're talking about anything, I don't like one size fits all mandates. I don't like any of that. I say know your kid. Have a conversation with your kid, understand your kid. They're going to have gone through high school. You're going to know what that experience was like. You're going to know what they like, how driven are they, what are they
Sure.
interested in. Have those conversations and don't get told by people that college is their only answer and their only path towards success. I don't believe that to be true. And I do believe 100% that college, not a scam for everybody, but in large part for many students that come out, they come out dumber, less able to think for themselves, and it's a disgrace for how much money their parents have invested for 4 years.
Okay.
100%.
And I've
I
seen
stand by
plenty of
that.
people that skip college that they'll do the one leap year. Well, I'm just going to take 1 year off. They never get
My
to
Y
do it,
button
and
doesn't
their
work.
lives just kind of petter out to nothing. Very few of these people become successful entrepreneurs. Very few of these people go on to acquire valuable trades and skills.
Okay.
Usually they end up doing some kind of work and they kind of promote and they're just kind of like whatever for the rest of
Okay, I want to talk about one of your nuanced. You have a nuanced opinion on
Everything.
minors, puberty blockers,
Oh,
some of this.
geez.
I don't know if on puberty blockers, but you talked a little bit about sports as well, trans sports, etc. Let's go to No Jumper, Tyler, 3343, and let's play that. I'm loving this discussion, audience. I'm hoping you are too. By the way, Tyler, do we have super chats we need to get to?
Not yet, but
Is the conversation
Yeah.
popping?
people really like it. Actually, there was one earlier. Somebody
didn't-
said
why the
everybody
conversation-
knows that money is valuable when you have medical issues. They were making the case if you're ill, if you have a family member
course.
that's ill, that money is exceptionally valuable.
We can talk about that. I'm a
What a great argument for some sort of like socialized health.
hell.
Oh my
what
goodness.
a great
so
argument
that money
to
wouldn't be a
wreck it.
gateway to oh my
Hell
gosh.
No, government, get out of my health, get out of my life. We're gonna get back to that. Okay, let's go do minor. I think this is an important this is an important gray area. So let's show this part.
There are strong arguments for minors getting access to, ideally with a doctor's approval, like HRT and stuff. or puberty blockers at least at a young age. That's a pretty radical left position. It's pretty far to the left.
Right.
But I don't think trans women should be competing in sports with cis women, and all the research supports that.
Right.
And that position can make me sound like a fucking Nazi, depending on who I'm talking to.
But also,
Okay,
like,
so that's interesting to me because, well, I don't support puberty blockers for minors. If you're
I
an
coulda
adult,
guessed that,
I
yeah.
have, well, you know, I'm really, I lived for a very long time.
If
as,
these
like,
cops
live
get
and
me,
let
I'm gonna be
live.
so
You know, do what you want to
fucking
do. You're a
mad.
grown adult as long as you're not hurting anyone else, as long as you're, even when it comes to relationships,
Fuck
well,
the
open
ops.
relationship you don't, as long as it's consensual, no one's
Who
getting
am-
hurt.
oh, I gotta
do
talk to this
you.
guy?
But when it comes to children, I'm deeply concerned about what I'm seeing with young children. I mean, you have places like Boston Medical, you have other locations coming out and talking about having
The Y button's not
very
working.
descriptive conversations about gender
Get
in
up!
3-year-olds. Utterly ridiculous. I have a 3-year-old. Sometimes he thinks he's a monkey. He'll say he's Curious George. He's 3. He's 3. So I think there's a
Oh,
lot of
that's so
brainwashing and societal
trash.
manipulation happening toward young children. And I also think puberty blockers for kids are incredibly dangerous. They don't just affect the sex organs, they affect multiple systems of the body. They affect the brain. And there is no scientific proof that once they are brought back in, let's say it's a pause and then you
What
bring
do